Hello everyone, welcome to Mastermind. This is the part 3 of the chapter Atmospheric Circulation and Weather Systems. This will be important part of our geography as we all know. So in the first part we have discussed about the atmospheric pressure. In the second part we have discussed about the vertical variation of pressure. And in this part let us look at the horizontal distribution of pressure and also other details. Now, before getting into horizontal distribution of pressure, let us take the example of Earth and let us understand little basics. Now, once again, our Earth is about to come over here. Now, let us take an example of Earth only over here. Just an example. So, this is 0 degree or which is equator. 0 degree and equator. And in the first chapter and second chapter also, I had said that the mantra to remember all the air pressure system is to remember that the flow is from high pressure area to low pressure area. High pressure area to low pressure area. This is the only thing which you have to remember. Around this only we can concentrate everything else. Now in the low pressure we know that it is hot. The region is hot, because of that only there is low pressure, because it evaporates. So this we have discussed in previous parts. Now let us take this as sun over here. Okay, sun, and let us consider this to be the earth. Let us take just an example of a straight thing only. We will not take the angle of elevation, etc. Now when we are taking sun like this, most of the rays are concentrated towards the tropics. Correct? Most of the rays are concentrated towards the tropics. That is till 30 degree north and till 30 degree south. So this is north, this is south. Okay, so this place I'll write it a little further, and this is south. Correct? This is north, this is south. And how much is this? This is 30 degree in the north, that is 30 degree in the south. Now most of the sunlight is concentrated in this region. Now what happens? It warms up this region. Okay, till here I guess it is clear. Now the next one which you have to take is near to 66. Okay, nearly 60 degree we can take. We can take it as 60 degree. And here it is poles, north pole, and here we have south pole. Now most of the sunlight which is falling, the direct rays of the sunlight is towards the tropical region only. Correct? This is the tropical region. This region, one second. Okay, so this particular region, this is the tropical region for us. This particular region, this is the tropical region. So this receives more sunlight for us, more sunlight. And because there is more sunlight, the air also warms up. Until here you have to remember this is the basics. Now let us start with the horizontal distribution of pressure. Now what exactly is horizontal distribution of pressure? In simple words, it means that how is the pressure or distribution of pressure across earth in horizontal plane. Okay, in the previous part we had seen that how is the pressure differing in the vertical scenario, that is towards the altitude. Okay, that is, as we are seeing that the pressure decreases with the increasing altitude. So pressure decreases with increasing altitude, because we had seen that more pressure, that means there is more pressure on the ground only because of gravity. We had seen this also. Because of gravity, when this heats up, the molecules separate a little further and it rises up. So there is less pressure on the top. So as you go on the altitude, as you go higher in the altitude, the pressure is less in case of vertical distribution. In case of horizontal distribution, this is studied with the help of isobars. Now what are isobars? These isobars are the lines on the earth, which connects the same pressure region. Okay, which connects the same pressure region. So if this is the line, let us say if this is the isobar or this is the line, it this line says that the pressure here, here, here are all same. Isobars are lines connecting places having equal pressure. So this has equal pressure. So we, with the help of this only, we will be looking at horizontal distribution of pressure. So we can look at it in this particular image over here. So these are the isobars. Okay, the distribution of pressure, horizontal distribution of pressure. Okay, so in all of these lines, wherever these lines are there, therein there is equal pressure. So if there is change, then there is change in pressure. So we had seen also in the previous part, the pressure is measured in the units of MB. What is MB? MB stands for millibar. So the MB at sea level, the MB is 1013.25. Now if it is more, then there is more pressure. If it is less, then there is less pressure. Let us look at it from the equator only. Now let us say this is the equator. What is IT, CZ, etc. we'll be discussing in future parts. Now if you are looking near the equator, you can see that it is 1010, and here it is increasing, it is 1020. Here it is less again, it is 1015. So if you look at this particular line, it is 1015 only. So wherever there are 1015, it is connecting that particular line. So if you look at this particular isobar, it is 1015. That is how the pressure is varying horizontally across the earth. Above that, if you look at this thing, it is 1020. So see, this is how the 1020 isobar is varying across the earth. Now why are these directions? What is the reason for that? What are the forces which are acting? That we'll be discussing further. But this is how isobar is. So isobar says, or isobars are lines which are connecting the places which is having equal pressure. Now there is lot of influence on this pressure also, because if you can see over here, this is the region where there is a sea. Correct? And if you look at this region there is land. Again this region there is land. So in between there is sea also. In the southern hemisphere, if you see, there is more of sea than that of land. Correct? So the distribution of land is less in southern hemisphere, whereas when you compare it with the northern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere you can see that there is lot of land, whereas in the southern hemisphere you can see that the water is more. And depending upon that only, there is variation in the pressure also. So I hope you have understood about this isobars at least. Now there are some points with respect to isobars you have to remember. That is, when we are looking at isobars over here, we are looking that there is proper line, because when we are looking at isobars, we are eliminating everything which is on height. For example, there are lot of mountains over here, there are lot of hills over here, then there is lot of depreciated areas as well, so the lower land or the lower areas as well. But when we are looking at isobars are measured by eliminating all the altitude on pressure. That is, isobars are measured taking the whole earth itself as reduced to sea level. Even though there are lot of hills over here, for example there is Himalayas over here, the elevation and all changes, but the isobars are taking everything as to be present in the sea level. This is very, very important. Along with this, we had also seen that there is a mantra, correct? High pressure area to low pressure area. The base itself for this is the sea level. Correct? So sea level is 1013. So if if the number is more than 1013, then that is high pressure. If it is less than this, or it is less than any of these number, then it is low pressure, correct? So if you can see over here, there is 1020, so it is more in pressure. And here if you can see, it is 1015, so it is coming down. See, it is coming from high pressure area to low pressure area. It is coming from high pressure area to low pressure area. And what are these distributions? Planetary winds or trade winds, and then what are different types of other winds, seasonal winds, tertiary winds, etc. We'll look at it in the future videos, but just that now I'm trying to explain you how is the pressure difference which is varying. So if you can see over here, it is 1015, whereas here it is 1010. So it is flowing from this region to this region, and then it is from high pressure area to low pressure area. So these are some of the basic points which you have to remember. In the next part, we'll discuss about the forces which affects these. That will be very, very important. But for now, these basics, that is horizontal distribution of pressure, is understood, is what I feel. And this image was taken from NCERT itself. So I hope you have understood the concept in this. If you have liked the video, please consider liking this particular video, pressing on the like button. And in the e-paper, there are some multiple choice questions for you to answer. You can attempt those. I'll see you soon in the next one, in the part 4.